Welcome, everybody. May 9th, Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, powered by Mortgage One. We're back in the studios today. Been a pretty busy beginning of the week for us. Today, we want to touch on a few different things. Yesterday at 1 o'clock, we had the very important $42 billion 10-year auction. Now, this was the amount of money that came from the reauthorization funding that Treasury Secretary Yellen needed to continue paying the bills that we're spending on. Now, overall, it was graded about a C minus, meaning it wasn't strong, it wasn't terrible. It was just considering the large amount of the auction, it was okay. What that did do is bring the bond market from positive territory to slightly in the negative yesterday. Now, tomorrow, we do actually have another auction, so we're going to watch that very closely, and that's going to be a 30-year bond auction. Now, this morning, the head of Bank of America Institute, Liz Everett, spoke on CNBC, and she said that consumer spending was up 1% year over year in April, and from 0.3% in March. Consumers were gaining momentum, in her opinion. It's important to note that during this time of year, we actually see some skewed seasonality due to tax returns. So whether we're really up that much is open to interpretation. One thing she specifically talked about was buy now, pay later programs that BOA has. And 8.5% of their customers had at least one transaction in March. Now, considering they had 69 million consumers, that's a ginormous figure of about 5.86 million. And remember now, they're not the only big bank out there. So the total number of buy now, pay later transactions is significantly larger than that. Looking deeper, 50% of those consumers are low income consumers, and they're using this buy now, pay later to continue their spending. Really interesting. She explained that the heavy users, now keep in mind, they define heavy users as someone that uses buy now, pay later 20 times in a month. That means basically every business day, those consumers are using buy now, pay later to pay for something 20 times in a month. She said they don't see a problem with that base because it only constitutes 0.5% of the total base. But that's still 345,000 people. What's interesting is they don't call a heavy user 10 or 15 transactions a month. It's 20. The number's absolutely crazy. This sounds like a bigger problem than what they're leading on. And it's leading into the question of, are consumer spending habits now going to start to wane? We've talked about this with the pressure of prices and inflation. Consumer spending is going to hit a fulcrum point and start to probably come down. When we look at this buy now, pay later, I've been around doing mortgages long enough that I lived through the mortgage meltdown of subprime lending. My question is this really the next subprime implosion that's going to happen, this buy now, pay later? The amount of transactions is just staggering. And the cost for these buy now, pay laters is high. And people that can least afford to pay extra are using it. Initial jobless claims came out today. Wow, has the BLS been listening to the market and the statisticians and experts out there clamoring about the fact that their numbers just don't add up? Coincidentally, BLS showed that initial claims were up 22,000 to 231,000. That's the biggest number since August of last year. Now, continuing claims, people that have been on for 4 weeks or greater, stayed pretty stagnant. The probability of that is just an improbable statistical number. So on one side, we're maybe getting some real numbers from BLS, but on the others, it's a question mark. Now, Boston Fed President Susan Collins came out on Wednesday, indicated that she's the next one, indicating that interest rates will be sticky and inflation is going to have a hard time getting to the 2% target. Now, tomorrow is going to be a very important day because more Fed officials are speaking. And on Friday, we're going to have Kashkari and Goolesbee, two Fed members, speak at a conference in Minneapolis and also do a Q&A session hosted by CNBC. Now, these are two of the hawkish members of the Fed, so their comments are going to lend some weight to what's going to happen on Friday. So let's be cautious of the market here. Last thing, Bank of England announced they're going to leave interest rates unchanged, which is not a surprise. So that's the last piece going on today. We are excited about the afternoon. It looks like it's going to be a busy day with our buyers. Give us a call. We'll help you get pre-approved. 616-293-2189. Have a great afternoon.